are watching Vantage Point PRU, whereby we are going on the ground to meet young folks like us to understand what are their thoughts and their aspirations for the general election. My name is Cynthia Ng and this is Nadia Azmi, and for this episode we are seated at this quaint coffee house which is called Coffee Island, located right on Gurney Drive at Georgetown. So yep, we are at the cosmopolitan state of Penang, and renowned for its culture and heritage. Not only it was listed as UNESCO World Heritage City, it is also one of the top tourist and business destinations in Malaysia. In fact, Penang recorded one of the highest FDI investments in 2011, which amounted to 12.3 billion ringgit. And how does this success translate to young people here in Penang? That we will find out from our guest today.
Yes, on my far left, this is Nazrul Azizi. He's a postgraduate student from University Science Malaysia, or USM, here in Penang. On his right is Regu Devin Lopez. He is the leader of an NGO called the Malaysian Indian Youth Council of Penang. He's also a young entrepreneur. And on my right here, we have Sherlyn Lim. She's an accountant, a young professional, who also runs her own accounting firm.
And looking at Penang's transformation over the years to become a high-income state, I was just here a year ago, and for this time coming back here, and I'm absolutely quite amazed at the developments, especially the buildings, the new retail outlets, condominiums, apartments, and it is in fact almost like KL right now. And I would like to try to understand first, how does it like for a young Penangite to work, live, and study here? Maybe Lopez, you can take the question first.
I think, as you have said before, Penang has become one of the most investment that we got in last year and then a year before. That has also helped with the development of the state. But yet, the impact is that the young people in Penang will having a bit trouble in purchasing properties, and also to live to the standard of living in Penang, because the cost is getting high. The development is too much, and it also increases their problems, because when the living standard is higher and the salary is not that high, so the young people are suffering and either paying their house loan or paying their car or the petrol. So that have impacted the young people.
How is it like for you living here? I mean, job opportunities, high cost of living. What are your thoughts?
Well, comparing Kuala Lumpur, it's like same, the cost of living here. And then job opportunity here, I think more, because we have a free trade zone.
Yes.
One of a great idea from our former Chief Minister, Dr. Lim. He bring all the foreign direct investment, I think 1986, when Dr. Mahathir built our first greater project, Penang Bridge.
Yeah.
They signed 1985, September 1985. This is one of the greatest things happened in Penang. Then that's why, as you mentioned before, Penang one of the highest foreign direct investment compared to other nations and other states in Malaysia. And I think the cost of living here, last month I tried to look around here to buy a house. I don't know, but I tried to buy, it's like house here is like minimum is like 300,000 ringgit. I mean, you can imagine me as going to finish my studies, like my salary is like 3,000 ringgit or 4,000 ringgit. So how am I gonna afford to buy a house 300,000 ringgit minimum here? So there's a question.
Sherlyn, do you think there's a balance? He was talking about housing and property. Do you think there's a balance and more sustainable economy between economy and housing in Penang? You work with youth as well. How do you see those who are just graduating, getting out to find a job with a good pay? How do you find the situation?
Well, for me, I would see that there are lots of job opportunities actually offers in Penang itself, because there are lots of NNC, with the establishment of FTZ, it depends on the attitude, also characters of the young and peoples, whether they catch up the opportunity and whether their willingness to learn or not. Well, to be frank, on the properties in Penang itself, the price has gone up very fast. Lots of young people, I don't think that they are able to, start to own their property at the initial stage. But yet, lots of young people are chasing after the lifestyles, those service apartments, even those with very, certain level of the incomes, they really want to chase after to own.
A more advanced lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Penang is seen as an attractive state for employment. I mean, apart from KL, I was asking youths in Kelantan, Sabah, Sarawak, they say a lot of them come to Penang to work. Let's talk about job opportunities as an entrepreneur yourself, right? How is it for you? I mean, how is it like for you to start up a business here? And do you have the conducive environment like funding, facilities? How is it like?
Well, Penang is a state where many people love to come because of the opportunities, but yet they are very choosy. Nowadays, young people are too choosy of what job they want.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
And also they want the salary that they want.
Yeah.
As an employer, as a boss, when we hire people, they said, I'm just graduated, this is the salary I want. I remember there was an interview and a girl said that I'm paying this much for my car, so can I get this much of salary? So I told her that your car is too expensive, I can't hire you. So I think young people nowadays, they're having this problem of being so self-centered, not knowing what is the market. And as you say, there are many coming over, so there's a lot of choices. There's many choices.
Nazrul, you're still a student, you're a postgraduate student, but still studying, not out there yet in the real world looking for a job yet. How do you find Lopez's?
I agree with Lopez. Our young people are very choosy. I just put this one example here in Penang. If you be a tourist guide here, you know how much we earn be a tourist guide? 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit a month. It's a tourist guide. Yeah. So as a graduate student, I mean that is one of the, I think it's normal salary for them, 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit.
Normal salary. Normal minimum salary.
I mean, if they take the opportunity to get a job here, I mean 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit to be a tourist guide. I mean, there is no point for other students finish their study, become unemployed here, because there's a lot of opportunity to work and to earn saving or whatever living here, I think. Yeah.
Okay, right, we need to go for our first commercial break, but when we come back, one thing that youth, when I went on the ground to talk to youth, they say one thing they want is better youth empowerment. And let's find out how is it like here in Penang after the break. Hi, we're back and let's talk about expanding democratic space and freedom of speech and better empowerment and engagement with the youth, because I've been across the states and this is one of the things that they say that they want to see from their political parties, candidates in the general election. And let's, in Penang itself, you have the first speaker's corner and you also just concluded the second youth parliament. Lopez, how do you see these initiatives taken by the state government and do you think what more can be done?
Well, I think it's a good initiative because the speaker corner allows you to speak up whatever you want. But yet, the question is, does this help? Means whatever they speak, does it be taken count of? Is it being written and being done or actions being taken? Regarding the youth parliament, I believe that Penang have done a good job in the youth parliament thing that they done a few months ago. But yet, what I'm asking is that, is it relevant enough for now? As the law didn't allow the very young people to involve in politics. And if government going to take this step, no matter state government or federal government, are they willing to change the law to give full freedom? Because for me, I believe when you want to speak, you cannot speak with the hidden things. You must speak out from your heart. And young people nowadays, they want this kind of freedom so they can give their point of view. And young people nowadays are not like last time. They're very creative, they have better ideas, and they are even fast and risk takers. And I believe they're willing to try. And I think that's a few elements that I believe the state government and federal government should think of. Taking in the youths into a more active role in the policy making.
Nazrul, do you think youth today, maybe your peers and all, are they aware of the available channels, available methods for them to express all these grievances, all these concerns, what they want to say to the government, their aspirations and all that? Do you think they're aware of the available tools?
Yeah. For information, my university, University of Science Malaysia, is the first implement youth parliaments inside universities. I agree with Lopez. Are we ready to let the youths to be in the parliaments? If you prepare them to be a youth parliament, are we ready to be that? Is that fair for us? I mean, what for we do all the parliament in the university? End of the day, the result is not delivered. I guess. What we want when we done something like that, youth parliament, the people in the cabinets, in the parliament can really look what we want actually, So it's not a matter how you put some symbolic, just a parliament, something like that, but there is no result. We want result. Generation Y, we know everything what you have done. we know everything, social media, whatever it is, you have to treat us different. We're not a generation X or other before
So
that.
the approach
Yeah,
would be
yeah. We have to
very important
revise.
here.
The government have to revise the whatever law before this to implement to our generations, I guess.
Okay, Shirley, as a young professional, you're married with kids as well. How do you see the political landscape and for the young people as well?
Well, for me, I would see that as in the states of government should do, execution power is much more important. Like I agree with Lopez, young people speaks up and voice up what they want, what are the ideas, candidates, what are the ideas, politics, for the governments, all this. But the thing is, whether all these ideas or no has been executed by the governments or not, or has it been taken up, taken up in the memo or to be taken up in the futures. And to be frank, lots of young generations are now taking up their willingness to be involved in politics. With the advance of technologies, young people are more aware with all this of the political views, and they want to point up their point of view. I think in terms of social medias and some of the channels should bring up all these things and also help the youth to be involved in the politics and take up the generations.
When we look at the demographics in Penang, right, about 41.8% of them are Chinese, 40.5% are Malays, and the rest, Indian and others, consist of about 0.4%. Okay, and I'm going to relate this to the takeover of administration in Penang back in 2008 in the previous election. The previous administration ruled Penang for almost 39 years. And then in 2008, we witnessed a takeover, a change. So Nazrul, how do you think that has affected the youth from this kind of demographics, affected them, and maybe how will this influence their thoughts when they vote in the election that's just around the corner?
Well, we, in the young voters, for me, I'm speaking on behalf of youth.
Yeah.
We want to see someone more know how to control the emotions. I can see REBT concept, rational, emotion, behavior, and you know how to use in their technique.
Okay.
So these REBT things, as a leader, someone who want to lead the states or the country, we want to look at someone, and then they know high qualified in academicians, not someone just pick up from the line because he's hot, handsome, something like that. I think we want to see something like that. And then what makes us, the current government now, they are doing, for me, so-so. In Penang, I'm talking about in Penang, because we have to engage more in youth. For youth involvement is really important.
I think I need to cut him on this
Sure.
part.
Yeah.
Speaking on the point of as a Penang Knights and being, I've been with both governments, before 308 and after 308. You see, what you see now is the government is more transparent. Now, after 308, there were a lot of drastic action taken by the state government, such as giving whoever students from Penang are going for university are given money. The family that have parents who died will have received some monies, compensation money. Anak emas and all that. I think now the state government, although they are not very young, but I think they are taking the young people's advice. If you see our CM, is quite young, it's not too old, and he's willing to take the risk and willing to take drastic actions, and he's in control. And since 308, I can see that he's going around and getting investment in Penang. That is why I believe that there are a lot of job opportunities, but many young people are too choosy.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Lopez as well. There are lots of opportunities in Penang. Since 308, there are lots of improvements have been done. I totally agree with Lopez on that. We can see a lot of Penang, greener Penang right now. So a lot of job opportunity creators, and it depends on the youth whether they want to take up the challenges or not.
Okay, let's talk about Penang is quite unique because there's comprising an equal percentage of population, Malay, Chinese, and then of course we have the Indians as well. Okay, I'd like to go to Nazrul on the topic of promoting integration. What are your thoughts on the state government's initiatives in promoting equitable economic opportunities and wealth distribution?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to touch back what Mr. Lopez said just now about our government very transparent, deliver the incentive to poor people, whatever incentive they've done. But for me, as going to be a future academician, I believe that the government, if you want to be high income state, whatever high income country, you have to invest on education. Invest. You cannot be deliver people just give bonus 500 ringgit or whatever 1,000 ringgit like that. You have to know about the fundamental. The fundamental is education. Give opportunity to young people to study. Free education. That is what we are looking for. Give more scholarship.
We're going to have to cut you short here just for
Yeah.
a while. We're going to go for a short commercial break.
Sorry.
You can elaborate further after this. We'll be right back.
Hi, we are back, and I want to go straight to Nazrul because he raised a very good point of providing equal educational opportunities for people.
Yeah, because as we know that Penang become the host of one of the best university, Apex University, which is USM. So if you compare with Singapore, how they give the focus on education, you know, we don't really have to copy what Singapore have done, but how they call all the smart people teaching in the National University of Singapore, focus on giving a scholarship to them, to bright people abroad to come in Singapore. Why we cannot implement that? Why the state government not really focus on this education?
Retaining
talent.
develop them and make them stay in the state to develop the state. Maybe Shalene, yes, you have.
I agree with Nazrul on the education system, but you see, in the upcoming futures, we are going to revert, you know, our teaching styles in maths and science in Bahasa. I don't think that is a good choice or a good ways on doing so, because, you know, we got to train all our young peoples in English, speak up in English. Otherwise, you know, people are just learning in Bahasa, although that we understand the Bahasa is in Malaysia, but the thing is we got to give all those youth to learn some English to catch up with us, so that they can go up to the international levels. You know.
How about you, Lucas?
Now, I think touching about education,
Yes.
I think one fundamental thing that I wouldn't say state government, but I say the whole Malaysia should be done is that they should give fully funded schools for every race. Nowadays, if you see, federal government is changing its Sekolah Kebangsaan getting full funding. Chinese-based and Indian-based, Tamil-based schools are half funded. So there's still a lot of poor schools in the rural area. And these poor people, the school is lack of a lot of facilities and they can't find funding because they're in a rural area, very poor people. And because of that, the kids don't have the motivation to study. And that doesn't make them to be very highly achievable later on. So I believe if you want to start up to what Nazrul says, in the university level, I think you start from basic first. Give free education to all the schools, no matter you're Chinese, Tamil or English school or Malay school. Give full funding by the federal government, and everyone is given free education up to university. If you see overseas, the government policy is to give free education up to they finish their postgraduate, unless you're going for master or PhD. And this gives them an opportunity to finish their studies no matter what is their background. That will give them an opportunity to go out and be competitive among those who are rich people's son or poor people's son. And back to Penang State Government, one thing about one of the effort that they are doing is to eliminate, that means zero hardcore poor, which is a very good step, which is, I believe, will achieve in a year or two. That is why I believe as the foreign funding coming into Penang, the state government is pumping out the money to the people. That means everyone, no matter where are you, in the hierarchy in the state, you still get the benefit, and you will be enjoying what is enjoyed by some other people. And I believe that will help Penang to be something like Singapore. And I believe earlier I saw in the state government's newspaper, Bulletin Mutiara, they want to make Penang like a Singapore. But I think there is a lot of work to be done also, because if you have more youths in the state government, it will be better. Now, backing back of the earlier question of the balance of the people, because of Penang is about being balanced state. Yes. I think the Penang state government started with a good idea where they have one chief minister and two deputy, or all three races. It means all three of them can give the point of their races. They can bring it to the state government, and with that they can fund it out. But yet, I think state government need to do an extra job, because the young people now, there are many professionals, but there are also many who are not professionals. They're skilled workers. Just example, a cycle repairer, a burger stall. So I believe Penang state government, to go to the next step, they need to create Penang Youth Fund to create a fund for the youths who wants to start up a small business or want to start up a new idea. Maybe he got a new innovation, he cannot find any fundings. He can write into the state find this good, they can fund them. And that will develop a better income earning youths rather than a youth who's sitting down and asking for something.
So let's talk about the future of Penang and moving forward to become a high income state in about 8 years' time. How do you envision Penang?
What can I advise? In Penang, we have a lot of opportunity here. For example, medical tourism.
Yes.
We are people from Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore come all over the place to get better medical here. You know, that is something the government should highlight. You know, and then the education here. I mean, we have a very good universities here, like University of Science Malaysia and other private colleges here.
Besides scale, I think Penang is a second focus in Malaysia where people can go to study.
It is, yeah. And then the foreign direct investment, we have MNC company here like Intel, Bosch, Motorola, all these company can create more jobs for young people here.
Sure thing. What do you think makes Penang unique and maybe different than the other states in Malaysia? Like Lopez mentioned that Penang, it's going to become another Singapore. So how do you think it's maybe a bit unique? What are its strengths perhaps?
I see that Penang is a very good state where you have lots of combinations, where it has a history, tourism, and it has industry areas, create a lot of opportunity, a good education system, medical tourism. There's lots of things that combines in Penang state itself, and there are lots of leisures. Butterfingers is a good tourism place for lots of tourists. So it comes to a very good combinations for people whether to invest, to become here as a tourist, or come here to further for their educations, lots of things for them to pursue. So I will see that for me as a Penanite, I stay here. I've never thought of to actually go out for Penang, to find for other opportunities away from Penang. So there are lots of opportunities in Penang for us to actually to find out. So I do agree with Lopez whether the state government do provide the funding for all those young people to start up their own business or not. And for the the hardcore posts, our state's governments have done a very good job to bring them up, for those that are monthly income below 500, to eliminate all those hardcore posts, so that to close the gap between the rich and the poor, so that our governments can, the states can move on with a very well-being state.
Okay, let's talk about the political landscape. General election just around the corner. What kind of candidates do you want?
Well, I think if you ask me to choose a candidate, I will choose a candidate who can be seen rather than not being seen. Means a candidate who is familiar with me, a local person who understands the local problem. If possible, he should be young. Because I believe the Malaysian population, we want people who are daring to speak up rather than just trying to speak for what they want to hear. And I believe as a young person, I want my representative in the parliament to raise up the issue of the people, not their issues or political point of view. Many member of parliaments are voicing up their own point of view rather than the people's point of view.
That people on the ground cannot relate to.
Nazrul?
I want to touch it a bit. Penang awarded UNESCO 2008, and from a Yahoo group, we are on 10 best island. You have to go, must die, before you die.
Yeah.
So all these things, I need global leader to be my leader. I want someone who transparent, academics, very good, and know what's going on, engage with people, and people person.
Somebody who's really fast, I think, and international perhaps.
Yeah, I do agree. I actually want someone who are very qualities in terms of education and could be a good leaders and understands what is the problems, what are issues happening in Penang itself, so that they can wise up and they have their hearts for the people rather than to take care of their own pockets, So that are basically the things that.
That's a very good.
One more to touch on is that I believe I want a leader who can be contacted not only face to face but through Facebook or Twitter. Many member of parliament don't know what is Twitter. They don't know what is Facebook. Because nowadays young people, they said, I might not see you, but I can just send you an email. I send you a message through Facebook and it's been done. I think in this part, Penang State Government have done a very good job.
Okay,
Twitter and Facebook.
To cut you short, and that's all the time that we have. And I'd like to thank Coffee Island again for hosting us for this at Gurney Drive. And thank you so much, and I'll see you again on the next episode of Vantage Point PRU.